Hi, this is Howie from Prime Your Pump, entertaining and actionable self-improvement. And this week's video is about greed, and more specifically about overcoming greed. And this video blog is taken partially from an article by Alfred Adler. And the definition of greed in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary is, and I quote, a selfish and excessive desire for more of something such as money than is needed, and it is motivated by naked ambition. I find this definition a little bit lacking, and I'm going to explain it now, and it's the difference between selfishness and greediness. So, when I talk about greed, all right, I'm talking about more than just like hoarding money or other things. There's another component to it, there's another component to greed, which is you want more for yourself, but you don't want others to have anything also. And that's the difference between selfishness and greed. Selfish, I want; greed is I want and you can't have. Okay? And greedy people are avaricious in their attitude towards society and towards every other individual. And the avaricious person builds a wall around him or herself to keep or protect their treasure. And their treasure could be money, it could be emotion, it could be anything. And almost everyone in today's society shows some signs of greed. The best the average person can do generally is to hide it, and they hide it by generosity. For example, giving alms or giving to charity, and it's an attempt through gestures of generosity to bolster one's self-esteem at the expense of others. That's what makes greed bad. So let's look at business life. People in the business world may have little concern, for the welfare of their competitors or for the welfare of society in general. And some business practices are actually based on the principle of that something is of an advantage to me, therefore it must be a disadvantage to other. And this is a win-lose point of view, and we at Prime Your Pump are very much against that point of view. Even those of you who have the best of intentions under pressure in the business world frequently protect yourselves as far as is possible. And it's often overlooked that this personal protection may be accompanied by damage to somebody else, which is the difference between selfishness and greed. We point these matters out because they explain the difficulty of exercising social feeling under the pressure of business competition. And some solution must be found, so that the cooperation of every individual toward the commonwealth will be made easier instead of more difficult. And as an aside, in many of our lectures, we talk about W. Edwards Deming, and that is something that he really promotes, and that's something that Rick and I really, really believe in. The next section of this video that we're working on right now, it is taken from an article by Lance Cashin, on how you can overcome greed and stop it from getting the better of you. So some thoughts on overcoming greed are as follows. 1, I have to recognize my own selfishness. 2, I must be generous, and give to others, which goes to the greed part. And this doesn't mean I'm rich. It can be generous with emotions or generous in other kinds of ways. I list the things I'm thankful for, which I do every day. When I go to the gym every day, there's a little bridge over a canal that has fish in it. And I just look down at the fish every day and I say, thank you, God, for my good luck, And when I find greed or selfishness creeping into my life, I kind of rinse myself off and repeat the steps above. Now, it's not wrong to want good for yourself. Money, health, friendships, etc. However, it's why we want these certain things that reveals the motives in our heart. Next, we can change our greedy motives by replacing them with selfless motives. For example, to be kind to others just because it's the right thing to do. Even if it causes you some inconvenience, you'll feel better for it. Just being a generous person. It's okay to want, okay, but you should also give. Now, use it or lose it to make it actionable. 1, I have to recognize my own selfishness. 2, I should be generous, and this doesn't require being rich, so I want and I give, okay? 3, I list the things I'm thankful for, and there's so many things I'm thankful for, okay? I'm thankful for my wife, for my daughter, for my job, for my income, for my friendship with Rick, for my friendship with Bree, etc., 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 my relationship with my students. I'm thankful for so much, okay? And I try and stop feeling greed. And if I do find myself feeling greed, which, to be honest with you, is very, very infrequently now at this point in my life, okay, I would rinse myself off and repeat all the other steps as I had said before. And when to use it? Whenever you feel the need to be greedy, you should go through this exercise and try and get yourself to stop being greedy and go to selfishness, and then maybe even, decrease the selfishness. And what do you think? Have you ever been greedy? And please write in the space below the last time you were greedy and how you could have behaved better. And before we go, okay, make sure you read our other blog posts. And if you have a friend who may like any of our blog posts, please share them. And lastly, if you haven't already signed up for our weekly newsletter, please do so. And until next time, remember, prime your pump.